What a ride it's been. The winter of 2026 will be one for the record books, a season that tested our patience, our wardrobes, and even our sense of humor. From the first flakes to the relentless cold, it's been a journey that's left us all with stories to tell. If you're in the Central or Eastern U.S., you've been right in the heart of it, living through a winter that seemed to have no end in sight. You know exactly what I mean. Every trip outside felt like a mini adventure, and every layer of clothing was essential. The past few weeks have tested our winter endurance, bundled up, hunkered down, and cranking up the heat. Families gathered around space heaters, pets curled up by radiators, and everyone counted down the days until relief. The cold that settled in late January felt endless, a bone-chilling siege that made even getting the mail feel like an Arctic expedition. Every errand became a challenge, and the simple act of stepping outside was met with a blast of icy air. This wasn't a quick dip, it was a relentless freeze that lasted over 2 weeks. Rivers and lakes froze solid, and the landscape was locked in a deep, silent stillness. Day after day, the forecast was a broken record. Frigid temps, biting winds, frosted windows, and cars that wouldn't start. Scraping ice became a morning ritual, and the winds seemed to find every gap in your coat. Schools closed, pipes burst, and everyone was tired of shivering. The cold crept into every corner of daily life, disrupting routines and making even the simplest tasks feel monumental. Grocery store shelves were picked over as people stocked up, and delivery trucks struggled through snow-packed streets. Communities pulled together, checking on neighbors and sharing supplies. But weather is always changing, and just when you think you can't take another day, a new pattern emerges. The sky starts to shift, and hope returns with every passing cloud. The same jet stream that funneled Arctic air is about to flip, pulling up warm, mild air from the south. It's a dramatic shift, and you can almost feel the anticipation in the air. We're about to go from one extreme to the other. Major weather whiplash is on the way. The snow will melt, puddles will form, and the world will start to look alive again. Get ready to say goodbye to the intense winter chill. Soon, you'll be trading heavy coats for lighter jackets and feeling the sun on your face. The most brutal cold is now behind us for the Central and Eastern states. The thaw is coming, and with it a sense of relief and renewal. No more major outbreaks of polar vortex-style cold are on the long-range maps. The forecast is finally looking up, and it's time to start thinking about what comes next. The pattern is shifting, the winds are changing, and a wave of warmth is building. Nature is waking up, and so are we. It's time to prepare for a dramatic turnaround. Start dusting off those spring plans and get ready for a new season. The big chill is ending, and the great February thaw of 2026 is about to begin. After weeks of winter's grip, the promise of warmth feels sweeter than ever. So take a deep breath, step outside, and welcome the change. Spring is just around the corner. Let's put this cold snap into perspective. It was one for the record books, a stretch of winter so relentless that it left even seasoned locals in awe. This wasn't just another chilly week, it was a deep freeze that gripped entire regions and refused to let go. For 17 consecutive days, from January 24th to February 9th, the Central and Eastern U.S. endured a punishing cold spell. Temperatures plummeted far below what's typical for this time of year, with many areas experiencing a relentless barrage of icy winds and snow. In fact, daily highs and lows in many cities were more than 10 degrees colder than their long-term averages. It wasn't just a matter of shivering through a few nights, this was a sustained, bone-chilling event. Pittsburgh, for example, averaged a staggering 17 degrees below its historical norm. Buffalo and Washington, D.C. weren't far behind, each city blanketed in snow and ice, their rivers and monuments transformed by the cold. This wasn't just a passing chill, it was a deeply entrenched mass of Arctic air, locked in place by stubborn weather patterns. The cold seeped into every corner, from bustling downtowns to quiet rural fields. The persistent cold led to a massive buildup of ice on waterways, streams, rivers, even large bays froze over, creating scenes more reminiscent of the Arctic than the American heartland. Thick ice cover became a hidden danger, lurking beneath the surface and waiting for the first signs of warmth to become unstable and unpredictable. The landscape was transformed into a frozen spectacle, stunning to behold, but also hazardous. Waterfalls froze mid-cascade, and snowdrifts piled high, turning familiar places into winter wonderlands with a dangerous edge. Power grids strained under the demand for heat, roads became slick and treacherous, and daily routines were upended. For many, cabin fever set in as people hunkered down, waiting for relief. This was the kind of cold that seeps into your bones and lingers, making every trip outside a test of endurance. Even the simplest tasks felt monumental. It was a powerful reminder of nature's force, how quickly the weather can change our lives and reshape our surroundings. The colder it gets, the more dramatic the thaw will be, All that built-up ice and snow is just waiting for a shift in temperature, and that thaw is coming fast. When it arrives, it will unleash a rush of water and energy, transforming the landscape once again. So get ready for a rapid, dramatic change. Because after a cold snap like this, spring's arrival will feel even more extraordinary. Now for the part you've been waiting for. The weather pattern is flipping. The stubborn Arctic high is breaking down, and the jet stream is about to surge northward. Warm air from the Gulf is set to flood the same regions that just endured the deep freeze. This isn't a slow warm-up. It's a rapid surge that will feel almost shocking. Temperatures will soar, and the air will feel gentler and milder. The warmth will build in the central states, then spread east, covering the Midwest, Ohio Valley, Southeast, and East Coast. Millions of square miles will transition from well below to well above average temps in days. Instead of wind chill advisories, we'll be talking about record warmth and spring in the air. The great thaw of February 2026 is unfolding right before our eyes. Winter's harshest chapter is ending, fast. So, just how warm are we talking? These numbers are impressive for mid-February. From the Great Plains to the Atlantic, temps will climb 10, 15, even 20 degrees above average. Instead of highs in the 20s and 30s, many cities will see 50s and 60s, a swing of 30 to 50 degrees from the cold snap. Midwest and Northeast cities like Chicago, Detroit, and Boston could flirt with 60 degrees. Snowbanks will shrink, ice will melt, and the landscape will wake up. In the Southeast, highs will hit the 60s and 70s, with some Florida spots near 80. Atlanta, Charlotte, and Nashville will get a true taste of early spring. Central states will lead the warm-up, with cities like St. Louis and Kansas City possibly reaching the upper 60s or low 70s. This is the leading edge of the warm air invasion. Record books will be challenged. The rest of February will be dominated by unseasonable warmth. The seasons feel like they've jumped ahead by 2 months. The rapid warm-up is exciting, bringing a sense of relief after weeks of bitter cold, but it also brings real risks, especially flooding. As temperatures rise quickly, the landscape changes almost overnight, and the dangers can escalate just as fast. All that snow and thick river ice from the deep freeze is about to melt fast. The rivers, once locked in winter's grip, are now under pressure as the ice begins to crack and the snowpack starts to shrink. The snowpack will release huge volumes of water, and melting river ice adds to the danger. As the snow turns to runoff, it rushes into rivers already swollen by melting ice, raising water levels rapidly and unpredictably. The biggest threat, ice jams. These natural blockages can form suddenly, trapping water behind massive piles of ice and creating a ticking time bomb for communities upstream. When river ice breaks up and gets stuck, it forms a dam, causing water to back up and flood upstream communities. Sometimes in minutes. The water has nowhere to go, and the pressure builds until it spills over riverbanks, flooding homes and streets with little warning. The combination of thick ice, rapid warming, and melting snow is a triple threat. Each factor alone is dangerous, but together, they create a perfect storm for flooding and ice jams. Emergency managers are on high alert. The flood risk is not a maybe, it's a when and where. Crews are monitoring riverbanks, setting up barriers, and preparing for the worst as the situation can change hour by hour. Ice jam flooding can be destructive, damaging homes, roads, and infrastructure. The force of water and ice can tear apart bridges, wash out roads, and leave entire neighborhoods cut off or underwater. The force of water and moving ice is a serious threat to life and property. Even strong structures can be no match for the relentless power of a river in flood, especially when massive ice chunks are in the mix. So, while we enjoy the warmth and the promise of spring, we must stay vigilant. The beauty of the season can hide the dangers lurking beneath the surface, especially near rivers and streams. The transition from winter to spring is rarely gentle. It's a time of dramatic change, with nature unleashing both renewal and risk as the landscape transforms. This year, it's proving to be powerful and hazardous. The rivers are running high, the currents are swift, and the potential for sudden flooding is greater than ever. Stay alert to local advisories, listen for warnings, check updates, and be ready to act quickly if conditions change. The hidden dangers of the thaw are real. Beneath the surface, the river is changing fast, so respect the power of nature and stay safe as winter gives way to spring. Where's the greatest flood risk? The focus is on the big rivers of the Northeast and Midwest. Rivers like the Susquehanna, Delaware, Allegheny, and Monongahela developed thick ice during the cold snap. These rivers run through valleys packed with towns, making them especially vulnerable. Pittsburgh's river system is a top concern, as is the Susquehanna, which can cause flooding for miles upstream. The Midwest's upper Mississippi and Ohio rivers are also at risk, with ice and melting snow creating a dangerous scenario. The ground is still frozen in many areas, so meltwater runs off directly into rivers, increasing flood potential. Even areas without major rivers can see flash flooding. Urban centers and low-lying spots are at risk. The volume of water is immense. Everyone in the path of this thaw needs to stay weather aware. Flooding could happen fast. Be prepared. The warm-up brings another hazard: thunderstorms. As warm, moist air surges north, it collides with lingering cold air, fuel for storms. Storms tracking into the Great Lakes could bring heavy rain on top of melting snow and ice, raising flood risks. Where the warm front stalls, slow-moving storms could dump inches of rain, overwhelming rivers. The setup also increases the risk of severe weather in the south, damaging winds, hail, even tornadoes. Tornado Alley and Dixie Alley could see an early start to storm season. Stay prepared. Know your severe weather plan and how to get alerts. The atmosphere is energized. Expect a fast, dramatic shift to spring-like storms. Let's not forget the good news. This warm-up brings real benefits. First, energy bills. With temps soaring, heating demand will plummet, offering relief for your wallet. After weeks of high energy use, lower heating bills are a welcome change. The power grid gets a break. And so do homeowners. Beyond savings, it's a chance to shake off cabin fever and get outdoors. Parks will fill up, kids can play outside, and communities will reconnect. The psychological boost from blue skies and mild air is huge. Open the windows, go for a walk, maybe even fire up the grill. This taste of spring is a gift, a break from winter's monotony. Enjoy the preview of the season to come. Embrace the positives, even as we stay mindful of the risks. Warmer days are ahead. Let's make the most of them. This event is a powerful lesson in how quickly weather can change. 1 week, dangerous cold. The next, spring-like warmth and flood risks. It's a testament to the power of the atmosphere and the need to stay prepared. Weather is a constantly evolving story, and right now, we're in one of its most exciting chapters. Stay informed, listen to meteorologists, and respect the risks. Enjoy the warm days, save on heating, and soak up the sunshine. The mental and physical benefits are real. Celebrate them, but remain vigilant. Watch river levels, be ready for storms, and stay weather aware. Nature gives us beauty and warmth, but also demands respect. That's what's happening around the country. Now here's what's happening in your neck of the woods.